As you have your fingers placed on one another in the manner described, you begin seeing that before we go into deep ideas, before we go into the depths of abstraction, we should first see where we are. And so begin looking at just as how you have put your fingers on like touching one another. You have connected worlds. You have connected your body. You have connected your separation. And you listen through a very pleasant and present view. You trust the words because these are just sound, and sound is your interpretation. So remember who you are. You are, before anything I can talk about, first a moment of existence. And so we must first acknowledge that you exist as a moment, and this has some known qualities and some unknown qualities. The unknown qualities are untouchable. So I am not talking about the unknown qualities. I am not talking about your experience. I am just saying what I am saying the most authentically as I can, and just the ideas that I am aware of. Therefore, as we become aware of ourselves, then we can understand more from another. The title of today's talk is How to Build a City of Light Within You. Building a city of light within you. It begins with first seeing where man's understanding comes. And before you do anything, you must see that when you're sitting on the couch and when you're hearing suddenly this talk, you're having a normal experience of a reality. Suddenly these ideas suggest a kind of mirror effect in which the whole nature of existence is being questioned in a very deep and conscious manner. Because as such a thing is done, we will begin seeing that the roots were not for us to see when we feel that we are present among the branches of knowledge. Therefore, we must increase the capacity of our awareness of where knowledge is, rather than what is knowledge. So the foundation of building a city of light is first to existentially understand that you are a moment of being, a moment of presence, a clarity through the emptiness that is aware, that is self-aware. And in that self-awareness, there's a self-remembrance. And in that self-remembrance, form is observed formlessly. The formless is observed through form, and you are the view of your beyond. And so the your changes because you're no longer an idea, because your experience is showing you how this individual conception that you have been from the beginning of your birth, as you have assumed, as you have thought, is dissolving into what you are actually experiencing, which is your absolute reality. We feel that the sun burns us, and so we get sunburns, but it is us that are just going in that space. So we must be aware that the foundation before any idea is the clarity through the present moment, and so now we shall raise the pillars to the structure of thought. Light is what you see. Light is giving you sight, and so this is man's current understanding. But as you begin seeing the individuation that light gives you, that observance shows you that there's an intelligence beyond what you see. And so the yogis and the mystics in ancient India understood this. The Zen masters understood this. All those beings who suddenly went and chased the beautiful rhythms of life understood this. The lovers of the unknown understood this. The mystics understood this. The pilots of consciousness are this. The advanced communicators are this. The human being is learning so much from its being, from that spectrum of light that it sees, by observing it so meditatively, so practically and consciously, to see what it is. Ideology fades for the absolute to enter in your life. And as it enters your life, you begin to see that light is your unknown. Light is the unknown. That means anything that you are seeing, anything that we're aware of, because we are the observer of the object that we're seeing, we're always beyond it. So we are always in mystery when we look down. But when we look up, we are the dissolution, we are the collective consciousness that is multi-present. And so multiverses may open up to you in an instant, and in that instant, it is not through time. It's like that veil between the dimensions where the time shifts to a different existence of time. And as that happens, you're no longer in that limitation. So that is why stories are powerful, because as they communicate and as you make the story real for you, if you're not conscious of what you're hearing, you begin seeing that you will feel you are that character, and that character is limited to the laws of the storyteller. And so if the storyteller is not you, then whose life are you living? And so this is very important, not to put masks on your face when you are looking for your absolute experience. Look at how we're living today. People are wondering, oh, I need to go get self-help books from chapters from bookstores. That's ridiculous. Back in the day, you know how they approached it? They were like, how do I increase my capacity to the highest existential experience? How do I see beyond myself? How do I push beyond this observance of light? How do I build the city of life, and how is it within me? And as these questions came, the abilities were more, because man had so much of an ability to confront himself beyond a fantasy. We have been given fantasies to a point where I remember hearing Charles Bukowski saying, like, it was his quote suggested that Walt Disney was too, like, you know, it was a negative influence because it was making it too magical, and we don't need that much magic. We need to confront the existential truth that once you go up the mountain, you must come down. Once you are born, you must die, in that conception, in that ideology, but you live on in greater ways, because you are the way. Now, to continue through, you need to see that sincerity and authenticity become your tools. And so we must use these tools well. You have a life, you have a reference. So what that means is you're born, you have imagery in your mind, and you're wondering of the wonders. You're wondering of what is the true nature of the cosmos, of what you're seeing. So what that means is there's a platform where being comes in before they get into a very human profession, is that before there's a scientist, before there's that religious person, before there's Bob, before there's that spiritual person, before there's that whatever kind of person, there is an observance that is a moment of being, right? And that moment of being is not definable. So it's like that moment where you begin laughing, having this divine moments of laughter, as many people have had in many, for example, many traditions throughout the world. It's just divine laughter, where it's like when the being suddenly realizes this whole reality is based on what he just was conditioned to see, what the program was thought to be, what the immediate thoughts were. You need to become aware of yourself more than your thoughts, and not to interact with them as if they are something. It's as if that realization, well, wait a minute, I'm not a body that has a mind. I am a mind that is not having anything, but is the experience of also a body. When you realize this, your world opens up to you, and devotion becomes your lesson. You no longer need knowledge, but you need devotion, and this devotion becomes one where you are exploring within you. The concept of within becomes your unknown, and as you become the lover of the unknown, many treasures are revealed. These treasures are catalysts, and so the city is being built bit by bit, because you in your life process, it's as if you're going into a flow, and as you're going into a flow, you're no longer an individual drop with a stream, and you have direction, purpose, and as you have more purpose and direction and awareness to what you are as your existence, beyond any other man's dictation, because we have too many dictators, you need to see that your calibration is only a choice, and once you see that you have more choices, you are always able. The truth is simple. Why make it so complex? There are no prophets when just some people got confused and someone was saying, hey, there's something there, The nature of your being is the only prophet you need. Just that observance. Just go observe your existence. You don't need any prophet. You will realize the nature of this reality. And if you do it deeply, if you become so honest and so sincere, and just dive with a compassion to be your greatest experience will find you. And it will be as playful as they say, where you don't chase the butterfly in life anymore. You're not only looking for something, you're not trying to do the next thing. You suddenly sit down, be still, and in what you actually are, life treats you as what you are. And then you know yourself. And when you sit down, we're all the same. It is only when we're standing up and moving around where all the troubles begin. If human beings just sat down, there wouldn't literally be very little progress. Now, conceptually, how we can take a city of light is that we are going to use the imagery of light to work with our thought structures. And so what that means is that our thoughts have a shape and certain sense of form. This certain shape and sense of form is going to poetically, in our mind of minds, be in a sense, found to be blended. So what that means is, when I say water, it's like you're not just seeing a cup of water as you've seen as a child all your life, you know? You're seeing, for example, waterfalls simultaneously as I say water, right? So similarly, as you're becoming aware of human communication, you become more aware of where the human definition even came from. If you begin asking, if you ask the question, if the little kid, when he asks, well, who am I? And they said, you're a human being, you know, and if the kid, instead of saying, oh, okay, and instead ask, what's a human being, you would see that the human beings wouldn't know what to say. Because it is not known through the conception of an idea, and so ideas only lead to tragedies, but experience is always blissful. It is an idea that makes you feel that crumbling of leaves is the apocalypse. But once you become aware of the ideas, you will realize and learn from your essence of being. Your thoughts begin being allowed an imaginative space where any idea that comes into your awareness, any sound, any noise, is constantly blending. And I don't want to use the term vortex, but it's like a spiral, a kind of toroidal spiral that's kind of infinite. And in that, we are not an individuation, but just a vast phenomenon of existential expressionism, cosmic expression. You know, as you become aware of this, you learn, and sometimes you don't want to go too deep into it. You know, I mean, some beings came into the human plane, and like they came in society, and suddenly they were so enticed by the concept of God that they literally went to their dissolution, not as in dying, they just went beyond their form. So before they died, they went and observed the peak of what this idea of human body was, and they just understood certain realizations about their eyes and vision that is a clarity for them that is beyond man's knowing. And so that is why you will see that there's the concept of an enlightened being. There was this differentiation, this distinction before. The Buddha had a huge difference with some other guy that was there. And the reason is because his awareness to the nature of this existence and its truth and its absolute sense of being in the vision that he was, there was no need for turbulence, and so Buddha was perhaps the best pilot of consciousness ever. One of the best. But in a sense, what I mean by that is a self-awareness to what you are, and in that existential knowing, your individuality has the ability of the collective, rather than thinking that it is lost or it's not even a collective. That is just dissolution of an idea, and you'd just be comfortable. It's as if like you haven't used your presence well, your physical presence well. We need to respect things. We need to bring devotion in the sense that devotion is your own relationship. Who cares what others think? You know, it's your relationship with life. Realize that you have a certain time here. You have, let's say, 100 years. So in that 100 years, it is so crucial for you to begin realizing what you are and observing and learning from your nature of being. It doesn't matter if you're a crook, criminal, or whoever, or a saint or a sinner, whatever, whoever you are, you can immediately begin observing and learning from what you are as life, just as what you exist, beyond ideology, just with your direct experience. And that is when you can consciously begin building from a foundation of direct experience. And so right now the structure and the city of light has been made because right now the ideas are communicating words. And so the ability of man to create a spectrum to then transcend through means that he was never within the spectrum. We were never the individuals we thought we were, but we were the abstract, knowing that we will always remember what we are because we are it. So it's very simple. Our complexity is dissolving to the simplicity. Words are ending in silence.